Okay folks, welcome to my next little video, and say hello to Furby Eggs. My daughter's got a Furby for her birthday, and crazy animal. Talks too much, pops out eggs, virtual eggs. Now I'm going to talk about diabetes and the life of a diabetic person. I've got type 1 diabetes. I was misdiagnosed. People thought, because I'm a big fella, massive shoulders, because in Australia and other parts of the world, obesity is an epidemic, and they think you've got a little bit of a belly, type 2 diabetes. You're chugging back on too much beer, and you're, having the smokes and eating those fatty burgers from the American takeaway joint. Now I'm going to tell you about the routine I do every day, and the paraphernalia of my drug taking. Ooh, bad word. But I'm surprised at people how they react when I inject the insulin, which is a life-saving drug. Without it, I'd be dead. Simple. Type 1. Type 2, exercise and caring for yourself. Maybe you can do something about it. But type 1 is simple. You're type 1 diabetic, you take the insulin, or you die eventually. So here we go. These things are strips. You put your blood on it, and you put it into the machine, and it tells you a number of how much blood glucose is in your system. Everybody needs glucose, everybody needs blood. Those two combined, sometimes the glucose can be a little bit high, and it clogs up your arteries and gives you vascular problems, which lead to deteriorating eye conditions and loss of limbs and just bad blood flow and stuff like that. So you need to look after yourself, folks. The machine I whack the strips into is a lovely little machine. It takes 5 seconds to read the blood level, and it is Optimum Exceed. Great machine. I've had it for many years. Thing here, it's a little needle. Instead of getting a syringe, which is a larger item, usually about that long, this just screws onto the end of a diabetic pen. So preloaded with insulin. Got to keep it out of room temperature, not too hot, not too cold. And that is the pen. It is a Nova Rapid Flexi pen, and you turn the dial at the end to the required number you need, and you work that out based on what you're eating. And once you put the nozzle on the end, screws in, very sharp, so I try not to prick myself. Screw it on. It's a disposable little thing. Got to dispose it in a yellow sharp spin, which is the safest way to do it. You don't want anybody stepping on it. And then you stick it in your belly, which is down here, and you press the pen, and it goes into your system after you've put in the right amount of insulin. This is a day insulin. You sit down to eat, stand up to eat, hang upside down, swing from a tree. Whatever you're going to eat, you need to figure out how much you need of insulin to counteract sugars rising in your blood system and to process it into the available blood glucose and stuff in your system. It's very complicated. You've got to get the balance right. You've got to be hydrated. You've got to still eat carbs, or else you get too many ketones in your system, because your fat is turned into energy in your blood system, but there is a byproduct, a waste product, and ketones aren't very good for your kidneys. So very complicated. It's a strange balancing act, and I try to keep it right, but sometimes I get a little bit off with the exercise now that I'm doing the cycling and training. Sometimes it gets, even though I'm not eating much, it still goes really, really high. Some people's sugars, they're dropping all the time. Mine continuously stay high. So I've got to counteract. This is a day insulin. 3 times a day before meals. The important times to take them, my doctor said, are in the morning and the night. Because sometimes people, they take this during the day. His logic for it was, inject it, the phone rings, walk away, because lunchtime is always a very busy time for people, and sometimes they forget. Then they'll have a hypo, because this is dropping your blood sugars, and if you don't eat to counteract it, you're going to be up to no good. This is a machine that you put a needle on the end, and you prick yourself, and the blood comes out of your finger. Try alternative fingers, because you build up these little calluses on your finger. And what you do is you squeeze the bejeebus out of your finger, and that's going blood, and you stick it on these strips. Now, I'm not going to show you how it's all done. You can just imagine. You pull it, spring-loaded, bam, into your finger, out comes the blood. Now, that needle here is a nighttime acting one. Like when you go to sleep, my sugars continue to rise. This is a long acting insulin and it pushes it down. Instead of this one, which is a fast acting insulin, whack it in over a period of an hour to an hour and a half. It kind of keeps things low and counteracts a spike of the carbohydrates going into your blood system. This counteracts what your body does overnight while you're sleeping. You can get your high sugars overnight just by sleeping. And the only other drug, well, many people on type 2 diabetes, they take a whole bunch of pills and food control and exercise. I've got to take these pills. I used to be on about 3 or 4 different pills, but it's the insulin now and these. These are Daibecs. The oldest metformin XR 500s. I take 2 grams of these at night, and that helps with the absorption of the insulin into my system. The slow release, because I find that the fast release ones give me explosive diarrhea. No one wants to talk about that. It's pretty disgusting, but I researched this. This is like one of the oldest drugs ever made, and comes from a flower, French lily, and they've obviously made it in a factory scientifically, and yeah, without this I'd be dead, So the other thing I want to say is very lucky in Australia to have the PPS, even though with the latest budget it's rising, to $6.80 or whatever. The cost of insulin, these needles, 5 of them, $110, week and a half supply. Me being on a pension, I can't drive anymore, so I used to be in a karaoke DJ business, and I used to transport my equipment everywhere, and I can't do that anymore. Probably $150, $50. Machines. A lot of companies provide these for free, provided you buy their strips, and their strips are like $20. There's a thing called the NDSS, which is a subsidy program where if you've got the card and you're diabetic, you can get these life-saving pieces of equipment in conjunction with the PPS, which is a pharmaceutical benefits scheme. Bring the prices down to something like before. There's no excuse for people to die anymore. Good healthcare in Australia, even if you're going to start paying a little bit of money, you've got to wait a long time, it can be achieved. So Australia is a bloody lucky country, and I'm thankful for that. So you don't want diabetes, but if you do, it's manageable. Just got to be on top of it. You don't want a bung eye. There you go. My eyes used to be red shot, really red, when my sugars were out of control. My sugars used to peak like 32 to 35 when I had non-compliant periods in my life. Worried about other things, totally focused on other things, not looking after myself, worrying about other people, looking after other people. You can't go back. They have, you can't pluck an eye out of a chicken and stick it in your eye. They haven't got that surgery. And maybe they should have plucked my brain out and stuck someone smarter, someone more compliant in my brain sack. Maybe I wouldn't have had these disabilities. But diabetes, not a great thing. It works with, say this is my foot. I'm not going to show you my foot because it's pretty disgusting. 5 toes, great toe, little toe, gone on this foot. The other one, infection, went black. Chop, 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 put you to sleep, chop off your stuff, bleeds like shit, heals up. Sometimes you get chronic pressure ulcers back, so I go to the podiatrist and stuff like that. But yeah, look after yourself, people. I mean, if my story is of any weight to anybody, please message me via YouTube or my Facebook blog at Facebook/whatever, The Cautious Cyclist, one word. And that's my blog. And yeah, other people's feedback, other people's stories, I'm interested. Talk to me. I'm not over the guy, I'm not looking after my family, doing my chores and stuff, and going for a cycle and getting crazy at the gym. I'm here. So look after yourself, people. And diabetes, paraphernalia, control, quite a juggling act, especially when you're exercising. You've got to make sure that you listen to your body and balance what insulin and drugs you're taking against what energy you're going to do, how much adrenaline you get into your system from peak exercise, that affects your blood sugars. I could exercise for hours and hours and hours and my blood sugar won't drop. So I've got to take insulin and I've got to eat. So have yourself a great day, guys, and there's more videos to come. And hit me up if you've got a question on anything. I might not be so great at talking about different things I don't know, but I can research it and I can give you my opinion, as a lot of YouTube channels are doing these days, answering questions. Have yourself a great day, and I will talk to you another time.